we have three amazing creators here that are going to be sharing their story about how they stay motivated, what inspires them, and really the true reason as to why they create content. So first I'm going to bring out ElleoftheMills to come and share her story.
I'm from Ottawa, Canada, and I've been a content creator for just over a year now. So I've been a huge YouTube fan for years, and I've been making videos for like as long as I can remember. I always used to make like little music videos with my siblings with like my mom's camcorder, and then like force my family to watch them. And I think that's like why I like YouTube so much, because it's like a platform for you to like put something you're proud of up and for like the world to see. So it's pretty cool. So when I first started out, my videos were absolute crap, as is everyone's when they first started out, obviously. And I know this was discussed earlier today, but like finding your niche as a content creator is super important. You got to find out what kind of content you want to make, but also be able to make content for like an audience to want to see. And that balance between content for yourself and content for the audience, like the concept that you're using your creativity to produce something not only for yourself, but like for a group of people who genuinely care about what you make and what you have to say, is the value of creating. And that's something that I found out this year. Okay, so I started consistently posting on my channel July 2016, right after I graduated high school, so just over a year ago. When I first started out, I was doing like challenge videos and like story times. That's what all the YouTubers were doing, so I thought I might as well. And at that point, like, I was doing this type of videos because I was focusing more on growing an audience rather than the content. Just because I've been wanting to be like a YouTuber for so long, so like, I was like willing to make anything to get there. Totally forgot what I'm going with this. But yeah, like growing an audience, like doing videos like YouTube trends and stuff is not necessarily a bad thing, obviously, because you need to play the YouTube game right, and try to grow your viewership, right? But at that, that's silly. But that, so yeah, that mindset's that mindset's something you see a lot of YouTubers have today, and it's good at the start, but then you see a lot of YouTubers get stuck doing videos they don't want to make. You'll see this you've definitely seen this over and over again if you're a huge YouTube fan. A YouTuber gets big making a certain type of video, and then they get tired of making that type of video, and they want to start making stuff they actually want to make, and then usually the result's like 50-50, like some stay, some go. And it sucks, it really does. That transition period is something I had to go through this year, but it has a happy ending, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. So how many of you have heard of the show called Stranger Things? Good, that's great. So last year, September 2016, like that's when it first like came out, like massive. Oh, someone's giving me a call. So I decided when I watched the show, I don't really like sci-fi, but I do like romantic comedies. So I decided to make it Stranger Things into like a rom-com trailer. Best decision I ever made. So I called it Stranger Things for Romantic Comedy. I posted it straight to Twitter. And it went viral on Twitter. It got like 1 million views in a day on Twitter, and like got reposted everywhere. So like I went from like 400 subscribers to 800. It was great. It was like the best day of my life. At the time, it was huge. And so yeah, so I decided like instead of just because I was making the story times back then, right? So I decided to up the upload schedule. Did 2 videos a week, 1 normal video with me, and then 1 trailer because I knew that's what people wanted to see. And so the next one I made was called If Troy Bolton Were Like Christian Grey, where I made High School Musical look like a 50 Shades of Grey trailer, and I ruined everyone's childhood. It was great. That one was even bigger. I think that one, like, I put straight to Twitter again, 2 million in a day. And like that one got like mainstream media attention, which was like mind-blowing to me. Like E! Online wrote an article about it, On Air with Ryan Seacrest, etc. So that was the first thing. And And I continued like, hold on a second. And yeah, that also like boosted me to like 2,000 subscribers. And it's just kind of like progressively got like exponentially, like the subscribers were growing and growing. And it was great for a while because people actually wanted to see the content I was making. I was extremely happy with the subscriber growth, but it's exactly what I thought I wanted. But the problem was, like, people wanted to see the trailers and they didn't want to see me. I would always get comments back then being like, maybe instead of posting like your regular video, you should post like 2 trailers instead. I would be like, please stop. And so like, but like the problem is, I would have made 2 trailers if it didn't take me so long. The trailers would take me 24 hours to make, like from start to finish every week. And that's not including my main videos. And at that time, I was starting university. And I felt more pressure to do my trailers than my schoolwork. So I started editing during lectures, skipping assignments, and like I ended up beginning to fail some of my courses, not very good. Just because I wanted the YouTube thing, so like I knew that like if I stopped doing the trailers, the subscribers stopped. So that's why I was like a mental battle with that. And by the end of 2016, I was extremely dissatisfied with where my YouTube career stood. I was just like not motivated. I felt like I was making the videos for the audience and not for myself at that point. So I like lost all value in creating, and I was extremely stressed. So at that point, I think January this year, I decided to take a break from school. Just because I was not passionate about the program I was in. I was in business. It's not very good. Didn't take a business class at all in high school. Don't know why I did it. Yeah, and I decided to take that time, that break, to rebrand my channel. I'm still on my break, just to update you guys. But yeah, I wanted to bring like creativity back to my channel and like really focus my time into something I'm passionate about. And so for the first 3 months of this year, it was really slow because I started trying to I focused my creativity on the main videos with me in it instead of the trailers, and my subscriber growth just like all the way down, terrible. But in the spring of this year, I struck gold. I made this video called Interviewing My Friends' Tinder Dates, where I went on all my friends' Tinder dates and interviewed them with some weird questions. It was great. And it's exactly the type of videos I've always wanted to make. It's like a 4-minute comedy video, short and sweet. And I was really proud of it. And yeah, that one went viral, which was good. Made me very happy. And at that point, when I found out people like this type of video, and I actually enjoyed making that type of video as well, they weren't too time consuming, I just cut the trailers right away. Because I knew that there's so many subscribers coming in that wanted to see what I wanted to create, that I said anyone that wants to see the trailers can just leave, it's fine. I can deal without them. And yeah, so after that video, it's kind of been like a huge snowball effect because I've been consistently doing videos like that. Like the next one was called My Brother's #HurtBays. Have you ever seen the #HurtBay video where like the two, no? Yeah, again, you guys got me. So basically, my brother like unfollowed me off Instagram. I don't know why, he's just like an asshole. And so I got his 2 ex-girlfriends and put him in a room with them and made them answer questions about their relationship. It was the greatest thing. So I kept on doing videos like that, and it kind of just been a huge snowball effect. And like since then, so this year, I've been, up to this point, I've been growing like almost 100,000 subscribers each month. So it's been pretty crazy, pretty overwhelming. Thanks, Sawyer, appreciate it. Yeah, so, but I think that growth is because I finally found my niche, like finally found the thing that balance between content for the audience and content for myself. Because I'm totally happy making the videos I make, and the audience that watches my videos, they enjoy it as well. So it's best of both worlds. And obviously there's always a bit of luck thrown into all of that, but if you're passionate about something and you work hard to get it, almost always there's a reward in the end. So as a creator, you are constantly growing and will always be making new goals for yourself. And you gotta do that to constantly keep yourself motivated. So although I'm very grateful and satisfied with where my YouTube career is this like soon into my YouTube career, I'm still like haven't reached all the goals I want to. I'm just constantly making new ones, and they're different from what they were at the beginning of the year, and just to keep myself going, keep myself motivated. Okay, last one. So, being so new to the YouTube community and having growing an audience so fast, I've been experiencing something that's a little new to me and very weird. It's my relationship with my viewers. The first time having a complete stranger coming up to you and acting like you guys are best friends is the weirdest shit. They're like, Elle, what's up, buddy? And I'm like, nothing much, dude, it's cool. And my mom's like, who's that? I'm like, I have no effing clue. Yeah, but it's funny because I feel like I know them too, because they're like, how's Janet? That's my mom. And I'm like, she's great. She's crazy. But like, I think being behind a computer screen, you can sometimes forget that those numbers are actual people. So I think so I'm a huge YouTube fangirl, like the biggest. That like, I've been on the viewer side of the YouTube relationship for so long that that's why I find I like have a very strong opinion on having a good relationship with your viewers. It means a lot to me to like actually have a connection with them. I promised myself before I started making videos like last year, I said, if I ever get to the point of success like that I had hoped for, that I would make sure I give every person that watches my videos the same amount of time that they give me to watch the content that I make. Because it's only fair, like, I don't know, it's like common sense to me, like, they're just people, I just wanted this for so long, like, I wanted an audience for like, probably since, when did I start watching YouTube? I'm 9, so like 10 years. It's all I wanted, so I find it very like heartwarming when someone comes up to me and tells me that they think my brother is a monster too. It means that they have connection with me and my videos, and I have also had that connection with other YouTubers. Since I'm so new to the YouTube community, I went to my first YouTube event as a creator like 3 weeks ago. It was at Playlist DC. And me being in the same room as all these YouTubers was the worst idea in the whole entire world. I mean it when I say I'm the biggest YouTube fangirl. I'm telling this story. I don't know why I'm telling you this story. I've been telling every single creator this story, and every single time I regret it, but whatever, I'll tell you guys. Alright, so, mind you, never met a YouTuber before, watching YouTube for like years and years. I walk into the green room, okay? And then all of a sudden in the corner of my eye, I see my favorite YouTuber, and she's playing ping pong. And I start crying. I start shaking. She looks over. Imagine you playing ping pong, and all of a sudden you look over, and some girl's staring at you like, oh my God, I love you so much. And I go up to her. She's super sweet about it, obviously. Had a genuine conversation with me, asked me about my channel, all that. And I know it seems like a small gesture, but like, that made my whole week. Actually made my whole life, but you know, low key. And even after, like, I was doing a meet and greet after, like an hour later, and I checked my, this girl's talking to me, I checked my phone briefly. That YouTuber followed me back. I swear to God, I got on the ground, mid-conversation, I go, sorry, wait a second, I need to breathe. And I started crying. I swear, you can go check on Twitter, I cried, I posted a picture of it. But yeah. So yeah, everyone thought I was crazy. But I'm telling you this story because, why am I telling this story? Hold on. Oh yeah, okay. It's just to show you how much of an impact a creator can have on a viewer. Obviously not everyone is as crazy as me, but you have to remember that as a creator, no matter how big or small, every single person that watches your video, you have some sort of impact on them. And sometimes that's hard to remember after you go on and on making content. And it's kind of hard to think of yourself as like your favorite YouTuber, like someone that you look up to, but sometimes you have to think of it like that way. And yeah, so I like to say this. I like to say try to think of your viewers as like your buddies that you haven't seen in a while, but they've been like keeping up with you on social media. So like when you talk to them, they know everything that's going down. But like in other words, just talk to people who watch your videos like an actual person. I assure you, your experience as a creator will be much more motivating and satisfying when you start seeing those numbers as like actual people. So I hope that as you guys grow as creators, you remember where you started and that you don't lose that passion, like motivation and creativity to create videos. And please, please, please don't let the numbers take over your life. Learn that the hard way. Remember, finding that balance is the key to creating. Thank you.
Just to remind you that we will have a group Q&A at the end, so we'll remember your questions. But now I'm going to bring out Sawyer Hartman.
Hey guys, how are you good? How are you? Good? I'm Sawyer, partial voice as usual. So I've come here today to talk about primarily burning out. How I stay motivated, and then also how I want to stay motivated in the future. So I think I've crushed this thing down in 10 minutes. Let's see. It's an idea, so stick with me. There's like two types of people that live inside me, and I think most creators, I think we fall somewhere in between them. Let's say that chair there without arms, that chair is being like social media channel, YouTube channel that makes a lot of content, has channels, shows on every single network, makes tons of money, have people working for you. There's nothing wrong with it. That's pretty awesome. And in this chair, with the arms, this is a bleeding artist. This is the person who, everything they make, it's like a journal entry. You really put a lot into it. I think a lot of us struggle with where on the spectrum we fall. But it's a spectrum, so you can fall in between. But I think motivation, can someone raise a hand that's ever felt motivated? And if you haven't, I don't really know why you're here. Creative industry, everyone. But you also know exactly what it feels when you're not motivated. And it's just gone, depleted, like energy. You can try to muster it, but then you're just trying. So I think this comes down to one huge fault that all of us are guilty of. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sawyer Hartman. I've been a creator on YouTube for like 8.5 years. I've burnt out, reignited like 5 times now. I've like literally started with making sketch comedies like Shane Dawson, and then burnt out of that and started doing challenges with friends, grew, burnt out of that, went to make my short films, burnt out of that, went to vlogging, made a feature film, burnt out of that. Daily vlog for 400 straight days, burnt out of that, started a company this summer, and now I'm like done with that. So I've had a lot of time to like deal with all this shit. Sorry for the language. But that's what it is, because it gets in your head, right? So when you start YouTube, can I say like, who in this room feels like they're the like, I'm gonna make what my heart tells me to, and it's gonna be awesome and artistic, and I don't care if people like it, it's for me. Raise your hand. Okay, yeah, so like, how many of you think this is, and you can raise your hand for both, because I'm both of these dudes. How many people like want to be a really strong YouTube channel, creating consistent content with consistent views, working with big brands? Awesome, half of you. So when I got into YouTube, I was this dude, right? A lot of you guys, no matter which side you get in on, something's going to happen. If you come in as a bleeding artist, you're going to make a great film, you're going to feel really good about it, and then you're going to look at the view count, and it might not bug you, but you're going to think, I wonder how more people can see this, right? So you start maybe thinking, well, I can do a film about this, and name it that, and then people will want to watch it, but it'll still be my film. But, is it not working? This one's working better? Okay. I sound the same to me, so, just so. But what I was saying is, like, you don't realize it, but you started as a bleeding artist, the second you even looked at your numbers, you start taking baby steps this way. And now, normally that's not a bad thing at all. But when you've landed about here, and mentally you're still a bleeding artist, and emotionally you're not being fulfilled by that anymore, you get burnt out. Because usually, to whatever extreme you go, you're going to have to go equal parts the opposite direction. You know, I'm not the first person to come up with this. This is like age-old, like Tao, like Eastern Asia, like really old, like Buddhist monk stuff. But it basically states, if this is a pendulum, and this is your center of rest, if you start here, you're going to burn out, and you're going to end up here trying to figure out how to get your videos views so you can pay your rent. And then once your channel's growing again, and it's exactly what you thought you wanted, you're going to say, I don't feel fulfilled emotionally, and you're going to start looking at that chair with the arms and go, damn, isn't that nice? Now, that's been me. So I started making my short films. I didn't have an audience. People started watching, got to 100,000 subscribers, stopped growing, was afraid people would stop watching my films. So I started to move over here. I got a weekly schedule. I started collaborating with friends, doing sillier videos, challenges, and it worked. I mean, I grew. I got a really loyal audience who loved both me and my films, but it didn't feel right. It did for a while, but I burnt out, and I was like, oh, I want to make a film. So I made a feature film, spent 14 months of my life working on one project, lost a lot of my following because I was in a hole, and I made a great film. And then when I came out of the film, and not as many people had watched it as when I was over there, I was like, how do I get them back to come watch my movies? And you do like hundreds of days of daily videos, right? And the thing is I've enjoyed every step of this. Don't get me wrong, like this is, the reason I'm passionate is because it's my life's work. Like, I love the ups and downs. I think everyone does. It's the journey, right? But what you don't see is how exhausting it is on you. So what I'm proposing is, instead of jumping in as either a bleeding artist or a future YouTube mogul, why not figure out what's really important to you and consider that the center? So I've basically boiled it down to, I care about respecting my audience and making sure that I stay true to who I am so that I'm staying true to why they subscribe. I want to make enough money to be able to like pay my rent and not have to like be fearful and then swing back to an extreme. And I'd like to work with brands in a way that's like respectable to both sides and make like films that are good. Like I know there's a heavy list of things I want to do, but that's what's important to me. So now, instead of going on YouTube and telling people, I'm only going to be doing short films, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Or doing daily vlogs and saying, well, if you were here for short films, I guess you can wait till next year because I'm too busy now. Over the last couple months, I've been working on this format of video that was similar to what I showed here at Buffer. And that's a marriage of the two. It's a schedule that I find to be doable once every 2 weeks for that type of content, but it takes the personality and interaction that it takes to build your audience and get people to convert as subscribers, because I know it sounds corny to say, make sure to hit that subscribe button. They won't if you don't tell them. And if you tell them the same way you've seen everyone else tell them, they're still not going to do it. You got to constantly be innovating ways to be able to draw people's attention and convert a customer. And then on this side, you can't get so caught up in the business that you're just a spinning wheel who never has time to be creative anymore. So what can you do in your life, with your YouTube channel right now? Understand where you want to end up, and then find a way to just gently ease your way in there. Because my theory, and the reason I brought these chairs here, which aren't mine, they were just on stage, thank God, because I was going to use little earphones. I believe that 90% of my energy isn't actually going into creating the way I think I do. I sit at home, I stare at a piece of paper 14 hours, and I figure out a funny story or a dramatic thing, and a lot of my time and energy is spent swinging between these and being caught up in my energy, just going back and forth, being here and wanting to be there, and then working hard to get here and wanting to be there. If we can find a middle ground, not that achieves something, but that gives us both what we want to fulfill emotionally and what we need to fulfill as an actual business so that we're not all like horribly in trouble. If we can find that middle ground and we can focus all of our energy right here, then maybe all of that energy we spent and wasted swinging can be harnessed for what we want to do and stay creative. So I don't know if it works yet. That's what I've been thinking about for the last few months. If you go over there, you're going to get unmotivated at some point when you burn out and swing back. But if we stay in the middle, maybe we will never have to burn out because we can just keep moving forward. Thanks.
Now, we'll bring out Dr. to share his story.
Hello. Oh man, this is always funny to me too, because I love when we're talking about YouTube stuff, and you think about the number of when you've seen who's watched something, and it might look really small. How many people are in here right now? Do we have any sort of number? It's at least, well, I'm gonna shoot low. It's at least 50 people, right? But but when I'm looking out, 50 people is scary. I mean, it's encouraging. This is insane to see attention of this many people all looking in one direction. So let me say this. That's relevant. So when I started doing this stuff, I mean, we're talking. This was maybe 11 years ago. I was 10 or 11, and I used to go on this website called Newgrounds. Has anyone heard of that? So Newgrounds is a nightmare, and you don't want to be there. No, I'm just kidding. It's great. Newgrounds is amazing, and the problem though with Newgrounds, or at least what was so daunting about it when I was starting, was it wasn't like YouTube where you just put your thing up and then it goes up, and if someone sees it, someone sees it. Newgrounds has a judgment system when you post. Everything that you post is judged first. And if it gets below a certain score, they take it off and it's deleted. And not only does it get deleted, there's a wonderful little spot on this website called the Graveyard, where you can go and look at all the mean things that people said about it before it was deleted from the website. And it sounds mean-spirited, but weirdly enough, Newgrounds is the weirdest place in that it's in equal measure very sincere animation fans who just love the craft of animating and stories of friendship and heart, and then on the other side, it's the worst stuff you've ever seen in your life, and you don't want to look at it. I'm still recovering from my time there as a child. But so anyway, I think it might have been Smosh used to post on Newgrounds before YouTube. I'm pretty positive it was Smosh's Pokemon video. Have people seen this? Yeah. This was literally just them singing the Pokemon theme song. And I think they posted on Newgrounds and they posted a link to YouTube. And now this is again, I was 11, 12, animating, so I wanted to be a Flash animator, I wanted to make stuff, I was looking at all these people, and it's weird to remember now, even I just have to try to remind myself of this. There was a point where, when I watched something that someone posted online, it was nearly as cool as TV or a movie. I was just as impressed that someone had anything up anywhere. It didn't seem like this vast, endless ocean of people just throwing a bunch of different stuff. I was like, wow, you have something on the internet? That's incredible, that's insane. People have their own websites. I was watching short films, and the only way that was, the only really host of short films was if someone had their own website, and they had a terrible QuickTime player embedded. And I was I loved it. I was chasing that. I wanted to just be that. I wanted to make stuff and have people see it in whatever way. And so Smosh posts this video, and they post the same video. They say, hey, also, if you want to watch it on this place called YouTube, come do that. And I was like, YouTube? What was that? It's talking to me, clearly, because I am me. And it says, that was stupid. Just forget I just said that. Holy moly. So I clicked on that, and then obviously very quickly I realized that when you post it on YouTube, it doesn't matter. No one takes it down. I mean, unless you do something awful. But like, you can just post whatever you want, and there's no judgment or whatever. And it's like maybe people watch it or maybe they don't. But that was insane to me. That was like I had found paradise. I was like, oh, I'm doing this every day. This is incredible. This is amazing. I started a channel, and I got probably about like 200 or so subscribers. Who knows how? I don't even remember. I was making the worst videos that you can imagine. And then I started to post videos where I was like taking footage from Spider-Man movies and like dubbing them or replacing a word out of them. And YouTube, this was like the Wild West of YouTube in both good and bad ways in that. So like even the enforcement of like the copyright stuff was a lot more just like the sheriff could shoot whoever he wanted and there was really nothing he would do. Like, well, he's the sheriff, I guess I'm not gonna. Scary. So I posted, I got 2 strikes and they were rightfully so because I was stealing footage from Sam Raimi. And then the third one, I was like, I'll never do this again. Stupid boy. And then I posted this thing, it was called Robot Chicken Test, where I like animated, it was stop motion, just a stop motion test. But the fact that it said Robot Chicken, when they were just, again, the sheriff was just coming out looking for trouble, he was looking for dudes in black hats, and they saw Robot Chicken, and he just went, BAM! And I died. My channel got deleted. And I was like, no! My 200 people! It was devastating. I was like rocked to my core. And I don't remember, I think I blocked this part of the story out in my head, because I truly don't remember how I digested that, I don't remember how I kept going. But I think what I'm hovering around, as far as this burnout thing, as far as this thing where it gets insane to keep up with it and to keep making stuff and to continue to be excited, there's a healthy sense of delusion, I think. You need to be a little bit delusional, truly. And singular in a weird way. And I think if like there's a takeaway from what I'm getting at here, where I was like, forget it, all right, I'm gonna make a new one. And by the way, the first thing I posted on the new channel, which is my channel now, was footage from Back to the Future. So clearly I was like, I don't care, man. Come get me. You have to like, it just singular. I was just so set on like, and it was thing to thing, it was project to project. And so I do like film stuff. My stuff is more movie stuff. It's not just, it's not challenges or vlogs or that kind of thing. That alone like needs you to, for months at a time, or for just a couple weeks at a time, or a week at a time, be like, this thing is the only thing forever. This is my life, and I want it out, and then once it's out, I'm going to find something else to be excited about. So there's like, I know that can be applied to any sort of video making. I think you just need to like pick the thing you're going to do, and there's going to be, through the course of that thing, it doesn't matter how long it takes you, you can squish this time frame down into a day if it's something you make in a day. There's going to be a point where you're like, well, this is dumb, and I don't like it anymore, and I'm going to stop. I don't want to do this anymore. This is a dumb video. It's a dumb idea. So especially when you start stretching that out to weeks or like a month where you're working on something, you're like, of course, at some point, you're like, I don't want to finish this thing, but just do it. Because you got to remember, like, you were pumped when you started, and all you, like, out here, you're talking about you want to start a successful YouTube channel. You're hungry, you're excited, you're burning up inside. And so it's like if you can focus that burning up inside thing on like one thing at a time, and again, down to a week or a day or 2 days, that's the ticket. Just like close everything else out and remember why you were psyched about when you got that one little nugget, that one little kernel of an idea. You were like, just keep reminding yourself like, no, I like that. That was funny. Or like, again, even if it was just something simple as one of Elle's videos where you're like, you were just pumped to like ruin your brother's life. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like at some point, like if you were starting to feel like, oh, I don't know, is this even like worth it? Like cutting this was maybe taking a while. It's like, do I really think this is funny? But if you can remember, like, no, when I thought of this, it was fun. It was the best. It was so funny. And I told people, and they were like, yeah, make that. That's funny. So I don't know. Is this making sense? Is this helpful at all? I think what I'm trying to get at also is like, I try to remember the Newgrounds days and the early YouTube thing, and I need to remember that like, as we've said now a couple times, the numbers thing it's a weird space to navigate. It's a weird thing to put a lot of importance on, like the view count, because it is important. As I love what you said, sort of like it is obviously important because you at some point do want to be making money off the thing you're doing, because that's kind of the point of any job, anything where you're like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do with my life. But I wouldn't let that come into your perfect delusional circle of like, I'm gonna just make this thing and I think it's great. But what you do need to also let in is like recognize when you're not doing something right or when it didn't really work or whatever. So like you can be delusional all you want. I guess I'll just quickly like add is it an addendum? Is that what I would say? No, I don't know. No lawyers. Yeah, I'm supposed to know. I write words all the time. It's a real bummer, actually. You just witnessed something crushing. Yeah, just as much as you can say, like, I want to be focused on just this one thing at one time, and just get that thing done, and then move on, and get yourself excited about something else, and start listening to music, so just start walking around, and just be like, whatever, just be open. I really feel like as far as the idea thing of like when you're like, I don't even know what I want to make anymore, if you literally just exist, with the understanding of no pressure, not like thinking I need an idea right now. And that works for some people to just sit up to come up with something. But if you're just like walking around and you're like, I'm in the market, like I don't know. maybe an idea will strike me. You'd be surprised, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, weird. Because I was just chilling out and I was just excited about making another thing. Something just struck me. It's like, why not? Sure, that sounds great. But yeah, and then again, what I was getting at with the delusional circle is like, also remember that when you're hearing stuff back, or if it's not being received well or whatever. And again, I like how you said it's like, do you care or not if people don't like it? Like if you just liked it? Because I do. I certainly care. I think a huge part of this whole thing about, again, where I wanted to just be in front of people and I wanted to be on the internet, man. Like that was just because I wanted people to see the thing and I wanted them to have some sort of reaction to it and like it or laugh at it or, you know, whatever it was. It was just a piece of candy they enjoyed for a second. Either way, that was the goal. So I think that is important. You gotta listen to what they say, or if they don't like something, maybe be like, maybe I was wrong. Is that possible? I think maybe I miscalculated. Because the thing when you start like blaming the audience, like, oh, they just don't get it, or they just don't know, they don't know what's good, they don't know art. This is YouTube. They don't see art. Yeah, that's unhealthy. That doesn't work. How did this go? Because I have hit the end of this now. Keep it up. Just keep on keeping on. Straight line. Knock it out of the park. Good night.
So if I can bring Sawyer and Elle up as well. And if you have a question, just raise your hand and we'll come around.
Really, I love my camera.
Hey. Hi, Mom.
Live streaming right there.
When YouTubers decide to get to a certain point, they start deleting some of their old videos. So I'm just wondering, is there a value in kind of keeping your old stuff, or is it like, is there like, well, it's like, because some people like showing their like growth.
I've deleted stuff. I've deleted stuff, but it's. I was 15, 16, in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, making videos with my friends. It was just what we thought was funny, and so there certainly hit a point where I would look back at stuff and just be like, that's a little off-center. Like, I don't think we quite realized that that's not as funny as we thought it was, and I think that there's a value in like keeping your channel as some sort of portfolio and like not ignoring, because you know they've got dates. People can look and be like, oh, that's a 2006 video, so like who cares?
I agree though. The sensitivities change.
And you definitely don't want, like, I have a problem with thinking of someone watching two things back to back that I think are weird. Like, it changes the flavor of the overall channel a little more than I want it to.
I think if you're like, I've never really cared much about AdSense. Like, I make the majority of my income through working with brands and partnering and figuring out like kind of cool commercial stuff. So for me, like, there's times where like, trends come and go on YouTube, but like, you'll have one video that you put like 45 seconds into, and that's the one that hits 5 million. Not the one that took 47 weeks or anything, like.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, I started to notice that I'd have massive brands reaching out to me and being like, we saw blah, blah, blah when we Googled you and we love that video. And I'm like, that was me at 18 years old. Like, that was me like putting peanut butter on my face with a friend because I lost a bet. Like, so I don't delete, I unlist. Because you retain your views. It doesn't hurt your overall like appearance of the channel. But still, like, if there's a video that you know people are landing on that isn't an accurate representation of what you're currently making, brands might be very confused when they think about working with you, and you might lose some jobs because of it.
I have nothing to add to the conversation. I do delete my own videos. I do that.
She makes good videos.
Thanks.
Hey, I just wanted to ask, when it comes to like brand collaborations and making money off of YouTube, like Sawyer, you mentioned about like being that like starving artist, leading artist, but then having those brand collaborations at the same time.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that following yet, but you know that that is inside of you and you have the personality to get there, how do you like make money off of YouTube? And do you have to present yourself, or they just find you and say they want to collaborate with you?
I was just going to say commercial, even me, it's a huge wake-up call, a little bit of a reality check. When you accept the fact that 70% of why a brand's hiring you is because of who you can reach with their message. The 30% is how you're able to package it and enhance their message. So I had a friend very early on YouTube who he used to help film all my videos. Like back in my skit, you can't even watch those videos; they're so buried. But when he left me, like in the channel, I had told him like, you should be staying here. Like you should be. This could be something. And he actually took his skill set, walked into a car dealership in Beverly Hills, Aston Martin, which is a great car. And he showed them a couple of the videos we had made together. And he said, if you have any track days or events coming up, I would love to give you my services for free. I'll do it for 3 times for free. I'll make you amazing content. I don't have much of an audience to host them to. But that's my buddy AJ Blyer. He now shoots for Ferrari, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, all of them. And it's just a matter of time before he's in all of them. But yeah, like, sometimes commercial aspect isn't the best place to try to amass a YouTube audience.
Hello. So Sawyer, I really appreciate what you're talking about burnout, because I definitely feel that sometimes. One thing that I find that is a struggle, especially with YouTube, is when you've already found your niche, the people that go to your channel expect that one niche. But let's say you're also into like travel videos too, and you want to do that as well. You go on an epic trip, and then next thing you know, you're doing videos about your niche, and then you're also randomly throwing in cool travel videos that nobody probably gives a crap about because that's not what they're there for. How do you deal with the swinging pendulum of having 2 different interests and trying to collide them together?
I've been very blessed that I think because of when I was able to get into YouTube, for some reason brands, no matter how my channel's doing, they come to work with me, and usually our work together forwards both of our agendas. But that's a really good question. So I wouldn't recommend to handle it the way I did, but I don't really regret anything in my life. But like, for example, when I was doing challenges and collaborations with all my friends, I was growing 350,000 subscribers a month. And then I made a video saying, you know, like, I'll still be me, I'll do these occasionally, but like, in all honesty, like, this isn't where my heart is. I need to go back and work on my films and tell stories. Like, since that month, like, I never grew another 100,000, and that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But that, like I said, if I had gotten off that train any earlier, I might not be so brand associated. So I think it's a really delicate line, and that's why I was trying to paint the picture of, don't think of these chairs as 2 chairs. Think of them as the space that separates the chairs, and that's where you need to learn to occupy. Because doing brand work isn't bad. Doing heartfelt work isn't bad. It's when you feel an undying need to only do one of those and fight everything else off that I think audiences start to panic as well. I hope that answers it a little.
I mean, I can't speak necessarily to the brand thing exactly, but as far as like getting your audience on board for what you're up to, it kind of is what like whatever you do. Like you're gonna set your own pace, you're gonna set your own rhythm. So it's like if from the get-go you kind of know that those are all different things that you like to do, and those are just that's what you do, then that's what your channel is. Like then you just made it be that thing. Like you made it be this thing where we're doing all these different things. I mean, I feel like I put myself in that position as well, where it's like they can expect animation some random time, expect a short film some random time, a sketch, like a song or something, and then it is what it is. You give it its own shape, you know what I mean?
And you condition your audience, like not in a bad way, like some people do. Some people abuse like audiences to manipulate them, but you got to remember, these are people who didn't have any clue who you were, found you, saw something in you enough to give you a chance. So I always gauge things, am I excited to do it? Like money aside. Am I like excited about making this? If the answer is no, I don't do it. If the answer is yes, I do it with all my heart. And then, whatever deal you negotiate outside of that is secondary. You just really got to figure out if it's something you are excited with.
I think we only have time for one more quick question. Okay, so do you think that you need to tailor your content to one specific area of expertise or talent? Like someone who's a creative artist like myself, I'm a photographer, I also love makeup, I love food, I love traveling. So sometimes I wonder if my content is too sporadic, that I'm reaching a few different people who like all of these different things, but consistently they're coming back and wondering like, okay, what's the next time? I'm just gonna post a travel vlog because that's the only thing I like. Like is too much detrimental to your growth?
You got to answer this one.
Honestly, man, this is so bad. I literally post the same type of video twice a week. Okay, I'd say like when you're growing your channel, it's good to have a thing you're known for, right? Like Philip DeFranco, he does news, right? Yeah. That's what he does. Like he's nice at vlogs. It's good, yeah. It's because then you have a brand. But there's definitely a ton of YouTubers who their personality is a brand and they do multiple types of videos. Oh, my minutes. Why am I thinking of Zoella?
Yeah.
She did different types of videos.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, I'll say from a third-party perspective, like I've been someone who has always oscillated between tons of types of videos, and I've come very accepting of the people who shoot past me in growth, because when you get known for one type of thing and it begins to snowball, it's very easy for someone to go, people have an undying need to label everything around them. It's just like human nature. So for someone to be like, who's that? Oh, she's the makeup girl. Oh, like they can accept that. It's easy. Their brain accepts it. They get on with their life. If someone's like, who's Sawyer Hartman? They're like, like, okay, he doesn't even really know, so this might take a while. I think like either's fine, but I mean like you're an amazing spectacle of like when you find something that not only you're known for, but you enjoy doing, like how fast and how powerful you can become while still like respecting your audience. And that's why you won't stop growing. Whereas most people do because they become Justin Bieber. And even he's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I think everyone goes through a huge swing and kind of loses it and then refines it once they've lost it. So if you can stay centered enough to never lose it, I think that's the best of all worlds.
So I could maybe like liken it to a favorite director if you have someone whose movies you like a lot. Like there's a pulse underneath it that is sometimes always the same, or like there's again the same flavor every time, or there's the same what a Spielberg movie is. Like when you just said it, I just said it, and you like kind of know what that looks like, and he's done vastly different things, but you still what he's up to. So it's like I think if it's clear, it's again how you say about it, you being your personality can just be the brand or whatever. I think if there's the same heart behind everything that you're doing, that shows, and then it all feels like it's in the same family. or it's coming from the same person?
If I can say one last thing, just because of what I've told all of my friends this summer, and it's really, really true. I started a company this summer selling photo presets and like had a lot of success for myself with it. So I reached out to like 27 of my friends and they all said yes. And now we sell theirs. And what it kind of showed me is, you know, over the years I've sold movies, I've sold sweatshirts, hoodies, they've probably sold bobbleheads, I don't even know. None of those sold as well as something that you can give to someone that helps them better their life or get closer to their agenda. So if you have the ability to make a type of video that can inspire someone to change or better their life, and it doesn't just have to be tutorial, but if you can give anybody any kind of tool that they can either make money from or better their life from, you will always be successful because people will always want those things. Just don't try to give people a service they don't want. If they don't want it, accept it, and figure out something they need.
Thank you so much to Elle, Sawyer, and Don for their stories and answering your questions. So now to close the day, I'm actually going to bring up Jay Wilson to talk about the importance of copyright and fair use. So that'll be close the day. But thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.